departments, the Department of Commerce and the Department of Business Management. I am very happy and I feel proud that I am associated with this 2 days national seminar, and I thank the Department of Commerce for involving me in this seminar. I wish the seminar a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your crisp message and good wishes. Now I request CMA D. Surya Prakasham, sir, Chairman, Hyderabad Chapter of Cost Accountants, to speak on this occasion.
Good morning to all. Respected Vice Chancellor, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, academicians, students, our past President Durga Prasad Garu, my colleague cost accountants, a warm welcome for this 2 days seminar, market issues and concerns. So as a cost accountant, what I want to say, one thing, we are all here to protect the stakeholders. The stakeholders is the investor, the common public, and every citizen of this country is a stakeholder in the economy. So we have to protect the stakeholders from these fraudulent practices. I have called out 3-4 important aspects what you have to deliberate in these 2 days. One is insider trading. What you are seeing, the information with regard to the companies it is being revealed to only certain people to inflate the share in the market, and the realization is going to the hands of few people only. So it is not going to all the investors who have invested in the company. That is called insider trading. It is happening in India. So we have to arrest this insider trading. And price rigging. You know, initially the primary market, when it is introduced, that is called IPO, the price in the initial days, that is first day or second day or third day, it goes up to 40% premium over the issued price. After that it will disappear. What are the reasons for that? Also it has to be deliberated on all these 2 days. And the lack of liquidity. You see, the shares which are traded in A group is only constituent nearly 70% of the volume and in terms of the money. But whereas the other shares are not traded. Because what are the reasons which are not being traded by the other share? This also has to be deliberated, and we have to come to a conclusion how it is not being traded and what are the measures the stakeholders has to take, that is the government, SEBI and other organizations have to take. We have to consider it. And we are seeing some of the organizations, they apply for IPO, they appear for 1 year or 2 years, after that they disappear. I have lot of shares from 90s onwards, but I don't find it in the stock exchanges, whether it is in BSE or NSE, because it is not useful. Because why it is happening in India, from 90s it is happening, still it is there. So we have to arrest this type of fly night organizations which are coming and going and taking away the investors and the public money. And the risk of rumors and the management, some of the managements, they create rumors about their share and inflate the price, and they encash that price, and these small investors are being affected in this process. This also we have to deliberate. So, and another thing, speculation. There are 2 important aspects, as all we are the commerce background people, we have to know. What is the PE, book value? What is the market potential of the product? These are the 3 things we have to see. Because without seeing all these things, the share price goes up to nearly 40 PE or 60 PE. That is not the criteria. Suppose if the market potential is there, suppose Hindustan Lever, ITC, there are 3-4 companies which can trade around 35 to 40 PE. The other companies which are not really worth are being traded around 35 to 40 PE, which is not correct, and it is being inflated by the shareholders who are garnered majority of the shares. And the recent event of the globalization also given a threat to us in the form of domestic institutional investors is protecting the small investors, whereas foreign institutional investors are encashing whenever there is a market. Market is uptrend for them, and they encash the shares, and it is not protecting the small investors. We have to see what are the reasons for this and why this market is going up when the foreign institutional investors are buying, why the market is going down when the foreign institutional investors is not buying in the share market. These are the few points I want to discuss. So there are so many other points. So there are unethical mergers and acquisitions, project cost inflation. Suppose project cost inflation also, they will take away money. We have seen lot of scams starting from 90s to till date. So I don't want to take much time. So what is the roadmap for us? The roadmap is investor education. The second is depository audit, SEBI strict compliance. So I request the participants and for these 2 days, and also the organizers to deliberate on these issues and focus and protect the interest of all the stakeholders. So I request the students on behalf of the Cost Accountants of India to join our course. So with the degree course, you can join our intermediate course. You can complete by the time you complete degree, intermediate level. Suppose if you are capable to do it, you can complete the CMA course along with your degree. So there is a lot of opportunities for cost accountants. I request the student to join. My number is 770-296-7892. I am the chairman of the chapter of cost accountants. We are representing 10 districts of Telangana. So if any clarification is required, you can approach our street. So you can approach us. The opportunities for cost accountants are good. I request you all to join. Thank you. Thank you once and all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thought-provoking ideas on this occasion. Now it's my turn to welcome the head of South Asia Certified Institute of Management Accountants, Sri Bhaskar Ranjan Das, sir, to speak on this occasion.
Good morning, everyone. I must thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor, our honored chief guest, respected faculty, and students and friends here in this auditorium. Thank you for this opportunity. I am not an accountant, and I am a professional who spent a number of years working in industry. So my knowledge is limited to the practical experience that I have seen, heard, or faced in the markets. The topic is on fraudulent financial practices in the Indian capital markets. I'm sure we are aware that there are issues and incidents in the capital markets that should not be there. There are fraudulent practices, there are malpractices, there are IPOs which are today worthless. My previous speaker enumerated on that. Even I too am a victim, that I held shares of companies which listed in the 90s, and today they are not even worth the paper they were printed on. And there are accounting malpractices which we have seen bring many organizations down, and our respected speaker spoke about some of the names like Satyam or NSEL. So what happens when there are malpractices like this? It's that the accounting profession gets a bad name. And believe it or not, we are good people. Accountants are good people. We are the watchdogs and the auditors of the industry. And for a handful of us who are doing fraudulent malpractices, the profession is getting a bad name. The other thing which I want to talk about is that all of us here are products of the Indian education system. And many of time, industry says there is a big gap between industry and academia. Believe it or not, I don't see this very relevant. The Indian education system is fine. It teaches us the core and the basics, and all of us here are products of the same education system. Yes, there is always a scope to learn more, and today the learning has to go on and shouldn't stop with the end of your college or your degree. One thing where I think we should be able to improve is the area of ethics and governance, is the area of transparency. Where does this start from? It starts from us as individuals, and it percolates into the companies that we work for, into the boards that we go and sit on. And it's we people who influence these organizations into the way they act. There is enough research to show that ethical organizations make good business sense. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. We have a report published by SEMA which shows that even less than 50% of organizations worldwide, and even lesser in India, actually have an ethics or a code of conduct inside their organizations. And this spills over not only into financial ethics, also into human relations ethics, also into practice ethics, and personal ethics. So is it that we lack character? Character is something which is what you are when nobody is watching you. We have to demonstrate our character, both in our personal lives and in our professional lives. And this is where organizations have started waking up and realizing that CEOs, professional CEOs, when they are not family CEOs, they are targeted and goaled very differently for the short term. They earn big bonuses when their company makes a huge profit in a particular year. And there is research going on right now to see whether this is actually helping an organization or it's detrimental to an organization's growth. After all, for all of us, whether we like it or not, it's measurement which drives behavior. How you measure me will define how I choose to behave. So if you measure me on a short-term goal, I will behave very differently than if you measure me on something which is in a longer perspective. In 2009, after the financial crisis, the American Institute of Chartered Accountants approached us as in SEMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants UK. Why did they approach us? Because their accountants were facing the same dilemma. The scams had broken out in the US, and they were facing public outcry. And you know that when you're dealing with public money in the US, you face severe consequences. They approached us for a simple reason, because SEMA is the world of management accounting. So where financial accounting stops, management accounting begins. And what is this that management accountants do? Management accountants look at the financial figures. And for too long, we have been respecting companies or not respecting companies based on their financial performance. It's like we value somebody only basis how much they're worth, which is not true. In business, there are businesses today which are bankrupt or non-existent because they had very strong balance sheets at one point in time, but they didn't look at how the business sustains over a period of time, how they react to competition, how they have ethics in the boardroom and transparency, and how they meet the market needs. What we developed, SEMA, along with the ICPA, is something called a competency framework, which means that accountants need to have not just the financial and the technical knowledge of accounts, they must also have business knowledge, they must have people skills, the capability to work with people both internal and external to the organization, and they must have leadership skills. And when I say leadership, it's not just top leadership. You can be a leader even within your domain, even if you're doing a simple job of bookkeeping. What it helped was it underpinned all these 4 competency areas with the basics of risks and ethics. And what it helped is it helps businesses de-risk themselves from business risk, from people risk, from reputational risk, which is the largest risk, because once your reputation goes, I think your business will no longer exist for a very long time. We individuals are contributors to the profession of accounting, which brings us to the topic I was talking about, is that we have been focusing too long on just the financial numbers. It's time to look beyond. And for that, there is a framework which is available, not from SEMA, not from the Chartered Accountants body, but from an international organization called IIRC, which talks about integrated reporting. So we have to report not just the financial figures, but also our sustainability figures, also our environmental contribution, and also our societal contribution. Because end of the day, it's based on ethics, environment, and society. And if you look at the triple bottom line, then organizations today are not just talking about profits, they're also talking about people and the planet. It's an honor to work with the Department of Commerce in Osmania University and with our partner in AP and Telangana, Strategem. We hope to bring our learnings from our ethics and sustainability practice into Osmania University and integrate with the curriculum so that as learners, as students, we all can benefit from the research which is available. With these few words, I would conclude my session. If there is interest, please do visit our website and you can download the reports that I was talking about on ethics and sustainability and how ethics, good ethics, means good business. Thank you very much.